The Radium Podcast, episode 26. We're back for more. We got KDE in the house, as always.
Always here.
But today we have a very special guest, Too Short. What's up, man?
What's up?
How you doing, man?
Chilling, in between studio sessions.
That's what's up. Keeping it alive. You got to keep the music going. So you just were sitting in LA traffic.
If that's what you call it, I just call it LA. It's always been that way.
Yeah, always.
You think about like a 2-3 mile ride, you can picture it in your mind, and you're like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Yeah. And it's like a 40-minute drive.
Yeah, you're like 3.2 miles. So dope, dude. Thanks so much for coming on. Really excited about this podcast. We've had a lot of really great guests, but we grew up on your music, bro.
Well, it's the process, man. People don't really, they don't necessarily know the process of how you make these hits,
right?
So they can't truly appreciate it. But you gotta bring them in, let them know.
Yeah, for sure.
Let them know what we do.
Yeah, how long you been making music now?
If you count the elementary school band,
yes,
go all the way back.
Yeah, that's since third grade.
Shit.
Fourth grade, something like that.
Fourth grade. Where'd you go to school in fourth grade?
I went to St. Francis Cabrini. I went to private school, man. But I also took music lessons as a kid. I took drum lessons. I taught myself how to play guitars and all kind of stuff. I've forgotten my little piano and guitar skills, but when I was a kid, I didn't even need lessons. You just give me an instrument. I could mimic what I heard on the radio, just anything.
Damn.
And then when I got to middle school, high school, that's when I really started getting, music lessons, like really started advancing and knowing how to read and write music.
Damn. So
which I don't utilize right now.
I was going to say, shit, that shit falls away so quick, though, when you don't use it.
It gave me a set of skills that are priceless in hip-hop.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Just knowing, bars and measures and key, what key you're in and all this stuff. Just even the patterns of a rapper is the same as, drum patterns. The cadence that you spit.
Totally, like the triplets and understanding 16ths.
So, if you can visualize it like I could, it kind of helps the career.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can easily communicate with engineers, other producers, and it made it easy for me. I'm a hands-on kind of guy too. I think that a lot of rappers, like from my era, didn't. I'm not gonna say my era. I'm just gonna say rappers. A lot of rappers don't know the process of making music like a musician would.
Right.
And therefore, when they get in the studio, they can write great songs, but they're not really a part of the selection of how to make the music. They can tell you I like it or I don't like it,
right?
But not much more. They can't tell you, man, that snare is too loud, or can you change this right there? Or can you not let the piano play right? Whatever it is, whatever it may be,
They don't even know the elements of the song. You know what I mean? Like what they're hearing.
So you write a dope rap and you go home and you smoke some blunts, but not me. I sit in on the making of everything. Like I'll get a beat from a producer and I like reproduce it.
That's dope. Yeah.
Or just I'm there at the mastering session. I'm there when the song is
that's going
down.
Deep right there.
Yeah. No, I don't even. You can't finalize a Too Short song without me.
That's what's up.
Yeah. You cannot.
No, that's your sound though. I think that's really refreshing nowadays. You have a lot of artists out there that didn't really like get into the art and craft of music. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They just use the technology. And we talked about this before in other podcasts, but the technology and the craft and the art, they have to both make sense.
There's one thing going on now that I admire that I could never do. I probably could learn how to do it, but I just can't get it. I watch the young homies make beats without touching any instruments.
Exactly.
They just get a laptop.
Just a mouse,
just a mouse and click and
shit's computer programming, man.
And it sounds dope. So to me, it's the same as a DJ grabbing break beats and somebody rapping over them. Like you don't have if that's all you have.
Yeah, you do it with what you got.
So
Yeah, I love the new art. I just really like to work, because I'm an engineer and producer, so I like to work with artists that are like, yeah, I know what I want. I know how to speak the language.
I like to see some wires and knobs.
Yeah, I want to see some knobs and wires. Yeah, exactly. And know what the fuck they do. Like, what does that knob do? Oh, okay, that's a preamp, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Are you whipping it on Pro Tools too?
I have a theory, man. Like, early in my career, I made a lot of beats. A lot of beats that people love, classics.
Yeah.
I did a lot of, I know, there's not much I don't know how to do in the studio.
Yeah.
Right.
So, when Pro Tools came out, I would communicate with my engineer. You know, we experimented with it early on because it was the analog digital battle.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You know, we did some test mixes to see could people tell which one was mixed from the analog and which one was digital. And in hip hop, they really couldn't tell the fine line.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself early on, this was probably like 04, 05. We first got the Pro Tools in the studio and stopped using the analog. Might have been a little earlier, but somewhere in there. And then I remember thinking to myself, I was like, shit, if I learn how to master this, I'll never leave home. And I'm like, it was scary to me, man. Just like avoiding Pro Tools. And I know a lot about Pro Tools. I know a lot about recording. I don't record myself, but I refuse to become a master.
Right.
Because I'm addicted, man. I'm like, I know what it does to those like studio engineers and producers who never come out for like...
They never leave.
You don't want to be a weirdo is what you're saying? Like us.
I would do it, man. Like I love the challenge of communicating what I'm hearing and what I want to be done with the engineer, because if I knew how to do it,
right,
some of the tricks and some of the edits and some of the recording techniques that I communicate to the engineer,
right.
If I knew how to do it, I'd never leave home.
Yeah.
So that's my
no nights out.
My Pro Tools excuse.
Yeah.
So you got a guy. I'm guessing you have a engineer that like does you and gets your sound and has
from
like
day
you down
one.
pat. Yeah.
I always had one or two go-to guys that you don't have to discuss detail with them.
Yeah.
Right.
You kind of got a technique. You say this, and even if you use unconventional phrases, we kind of learn each other's language and we do it. I started out in 1988. We used to use a software called Performer.
Oh yeah, digital Performer.
Yeah.
That was probably like Pro Tools granddaddy or something.
Yeah, that was like the MIDI thing. You know?
It wasn't even called Apple. It was called Macintosh.
Yeah,
got the Macintosh.
But the concept was you could take 3 different drum machines and you could put the sounds in the computer and you could use the snare from this one, the hi-hat from that, the kick from that.
Yeah.
Prior to that, we would get a drum machine,
right,
like an 808, and we just, I got an album, Born to Mac, listen to it we had one drum machine and one keyboard.
That's dope.
That whole album is that one drum machine, that keyboard.
What was the keyboard? Do you remember?
It was a Roland SH101. And
oh, fuck yeah.
And we had the 808 drum machine.
That's amazing.
That's all we had.
That's so creative though, you know? Like nowadays we have too many tools, I feel like.
Yeah. You got too many like different paint colors and shit. You know what I mean? Like
and we had the studio that we used. It was a Different Fur in San Francisco. They had some good analog equipment like effects machines and stuff.
For sure.
And we did some crazy stuff in there, recording songs like Dope Fiend Beat and Freaky Tales.
That's
and
sick.
people would say, "You should do it like that again." I'm like I don't know how to do it like that.
Yeah, right.
again.
You can't. Right.
We looked at that machine that we used to play with the vocal. It was a big, tall, big bulky thing, and we sat there with the machine trying to recreate what we did last year, and we couldn't do it.
You're like, nope.
One-time setting.
Yeah.
Then Pro Tools and SSL boards came along and Total Recall, and
oh shit, that changed a lot.
yeah, where were you at Total? Remember Total Recall?
Yeah.
Take about an hour to set the session up.
Yeah, you had to
turn the fucking knob till the shit turned green.
You look at the screen, match every setting.
You're like, ugh. It was like a game. You had
The engineers say, give me like 45 minutes to set up the mix.
Yeah, you're like, really? Yeah, nowadays we're like, oh shit, the session's taking
Not
2
to set
minutes.
up the mix, to set up the session.
Yeah, just to set it up.
Yeah.
Right. Were you going to tape? Were you doing reel to reel, or was it ADAT?
We were definitely recording straight to 2-inch for many, many years.
Dude, that's dope.
And when we had the Performer, we used to record everything live, went to tape. So the vocals, guitars, any musician playing went to tape.
Nice.
And then anything that was like programmed went to the computer was playing it. And
Gotcha, okay.
We only had
they just sync together.
We only had 16 tracks.
Right.
So the technique was that we used the 16 tracks for, most of those tracks go for live stuff. And then the other ones, you put in a computer and you bounce it down, and it takes up less tracks. So
Gotcha.
we used to do a lot with a little.
Yeah.
And that was just, my engineer back then was Al Eaton. He was a musician. He played guitars and keyboards, and he was a great engineer. So
yeah,
it was the early days. I had a lot of advantages, man.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah. Getting great players is always fucking.
And I used to listen to other people back in those days, and I'm like, I could just hear that they didn't have the resources.
Right. You're trying to play that yourself.
Little sloppy sample loops that don't quantize right and all this stuff. And
the drums are off.
I'm like, boy, if you only knew.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it sounds like from day one, like you're investing back into, the craft and the technology and all that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for these records.
I spent like about, I don't know, the first album I made, I spent like probably a couple grand. Like we did, we just did it to
just get
out
it
the
done.
trunk way.
Yeah.
Second album, I had a little bit of money. The recording process.
Yep.
I spent about 20 grand on recording sessions. Then I went into one last run. I made an album, and I wanted to like just have all the time in the world, and I just gave the guy like 40 grand. I'm like, just studio time, pay for it forever. Just
Just get it done.
Put it on the books.
Yeah.
And right after then, I think I was in the middle of that whole process of spending that money or working that money off, and I'm like, whoa! I started looking at prices at Guitar Center. Yeah. I'm like, I just bought this dude's studio.
He was happy about it.
Shit. So you got your own studio now.
Yeah.
I've had my own studio since 1991.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So how's it changed? Yeah. Like, what do you see change so much?
Well, we went through all the procedures. We started with the 2-inch.
Right.
We went to 8-ats.
Right.
And we had this battle between digital and analog, and then they came out with these nice little things called the D888s or something like that. That was it Yamaha?
Oh yeah. Mo 2.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Back in the day, but they were better. They were ADATs used to break. They wouldn't sync up, all kind of stuff. They looked like VCR tapes.
Yep. Gotcha. Yeah.
So we switched over to those, and then people were still like debating, like, man, I'm sticking with my 2-inch. You record on 2-inch, bounce it down to 1/2 inch, and then you go get it mastered, and it's got this warm. I'm like, whatever. So when the Pro Tools came out, I just loved working on it, and it was a mixture of everything I had been doing way back with Performer and just all the techniques we were using to with our minimal resources.
Right.
And I took to it. I was like, I like this. And people were like, but you can't record an album on it. You can't. All you can do is this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a song. We're going to record the exact same song, analog, and we're going to record the exact same song in Pro Tools. And then we're going to mix them down all the way professional. Yeah. And then you tell me which one was analog, which nobody
no one
knew.
can tell, right? Yeah. And they're all listening on like ear pods.
I still wasn't a believer because the industry said it had to be on a 2-inch, had to go down to 1/2 inch, had to get it mastered. You can't do it any other way. These computers can't do it.
Right.
And then I was somewhere in Atlanta, I could never remember where, and somebody was recording an entire album and mixed it down on Pro Tools. I was like, you did what?
Unbelievable.
I'm like, man, we throw the 2-inch out the room right now, throw it away. So we never looked back.
So your studio now, do you have like a console, or are you just going right to the computer?
Nah, the last board I bought was a Control 24,
Gotcha.
12, 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Way back in 06, 05 somewhere.
Gotcha.
And that thing, it just kept on trucking, man, all through the early 2000s, on through the 2010s. And then I had 2 studios. I always had 2 studios. And nice. I went and got a facility in Oakland, and I put a third little pre-production room in there. So it was like 3 studios. And then I found myself all the time on airplanes to LA, flying to LA, spending money on hotels, spending money on flights. I'm like, man, I should just do it.
Just move to
I
LA.
kept trying to avoid it, but I had to do it. So I got a studio in LA, and it was just, same thing, like a pre-production room and another room, and it was just me trying to break out the old box.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I moved downtown. And that's when I decided, you know what, man, I'm just doing this like we do with a bedroom setup.
Right.
You just need a computer, You need the software. You need a good preamp and good microphone.
For sure.
And do it. And everything else is wheels and bells and whistles.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and then someone mixes it, and then you
all the rooms we have now are it's the good Pro Tools. You know, it's HD. It's
nice.
You know, Avalon preamps.
Nice.
We got nice mics. I could name them. I got some AKGs, and I got some other fancy mics that if my engineer was here, he'd tell you what it was.
Yeah. Get all the engineers excited.
But we don't really soundproof the rooms. We treat them, you know, so they don't ring and have good acoustics. My man Dave Hampton designed them, so they are structurally, you know, good for sound, but we didn't do all the padding in the walls and you know, the guy across the hall is working. You can hear everything he's doing, and you got to say, hey, give me 30 minutes to lay some vocals. Yeah,
hey, cut the bass real quick.
You know, I look at it like we're recording at home. It's like a home studio. You know, if you got kids in a home studio, you're like, hey, I'm doing vocals. Yeah,
go outside.
Yeah,
you know, we did a song. I could tell you about a lot of great songs we made in crazy environments. We did Snoop Dogg, Life of the Party. Mm-hmm. Snoop had a studio set up in an apartment in Hollywood, and the equipment's in the living room, and the microphone's in the closet with his clothes.
That's dope.
And the clothes, you know, help the sound. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people record in the closet.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I've seen people record in bathrooms.
Hits have been made in the closet, man.
Yeah, like you know, so I'm really all about home recording studios. And then you record all your ideas and you take your time, no pressure. Right. And then you go book some time somewhere and make it all nice and professional and mix it or whatever you got to do.
So the latest tape, that was all like recorded at home and then like all the ideas and stuff?
Well, not at home, but at my spot.
Gotcha.
My spot.
Which really is a studio.
It has the home studio vibe. If you ever get a chance to check it out, it's called The Boom Box.
Oh, nice.
And it's a lot of stuff going on down there. We got a live performance stage.
That's sick.
There's a bar. It looks like kind of like a nightclub, DJ booth. Sick. And then every studio, when you walk out the studio, you're in this big lounge. So
that's sick.
I've been to a lot of studios where the lounge was a pool table and a living room set up. Yeah. And I'm like, I think I want my lounge to be a lounge.
Right.
Like, seriously.
That's tight, though. That's the vibes, you
like
know?
a sports bar.
Yeah.
It's dope.
Super dope. So, on this podcast, we talk about like a lot of like business and stuff like that. Like, what do you think about like owning a studio and having multiple rooms and booking that? Like, is that like a full time, like, you know, devotion to, you know?
I don't do it because of the customer service aspect.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you have a customer or a client, then you have to cater to that client.
Yeah.
And if you're into stocking the water, you know,
all that shit,
keeping the bottles,
you know, temperature, everything. People are constantly want something or are constantly complaining, and I'm like, no way, I'm gonna spend $1 million building a facility and then somebody walk in my house and tell me,
right, especially in your house, right?
I like to, like, nah.
Where's my shit?
It's just not the business. I've always owned studios and I've never rented out time. There's a grace period between you and your friends where you gotta like maybe, hey man, let me can I get a favor? But then a favor can't be like, can I get free studio time?
Oh man, we deal with that, right? Yeah.
So there's a fine line between can I get a favor and I'm talking about real friends, not a club, like your real friends.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you got a studio? My neighbor know how to rap.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna bring him over there and
you should put him on.
Y'all make me rich.
Yeah.
You got
and co-sign
next door neighbor records, but you don't even, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So I avoid all that.
So you basically got like a business partner who, you know, you pass all that fun stuff to.
Employees.
Yeah, I do have I like to play bad guy a little bit, but not a lot. Like if I play bad guy too much, people get all sensitive on me and stuff.
Right.
So I do have to have somebody that says no.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that balance like, you know, making your own records and then also, you know, running the studio and, you know, because you're on a bunch of stuff like Black Panther.
Well, I'm a studio guy, so for me, in a normal day, I'd probably have a couple of meetings about something that's totally non-music related,
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just business meetings or whatever, and I actually conduct a lot of business in the studio, like the.
Gotcha.
That's a great place, though.
Like I don't have an office with a desk and a computer. My office is my studio.
That's sick.
So people come to meet with me and they go, "Where are we gonna meet at?" I'm like, "Just come on in here."
That's sick.
Yeah.
We stop making music for 30 minutes and have a meeting, and we get right back to work.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've always been that way. I can't remember the last time I had an office, but I do remember always making sure I had an office and this look of a desk and stuff on the walls, and never going in the room.
Yeah, it just sits there, empty.
Yeah, put it in my office.
Yeah. It becomes a storage room.
Yep.
Yeah, just go throw that in the office.
So this time around, not doing that. And, you know, it works out, man. I even though I have multiple studios, it's basically for artists and producers I believe in.
Right.
I think my ultimate goal this time around is to actually put together, which is already in motion now, but just put together a team of producers, writers, singers, engineers that, without me present, actually can make great music together. So
yeah, keep it running, right?
And just make good music, man. It's a lot more than the music right now.
100%.
People want to see a lot of it. They want to just be a part of it. So I'm just looking for the right team that can. I built the tool.
Right.
You got to utilize it. I can't make you a star. You know?
Right. Exactly.
That's a very.
Everyone's looking for that though.
That's a big misconception in the entertainment industry, is that you're gonna meet somebody who's gonna make you a star.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit, because that's really big right now, especially with social media.
Well, there are people who can give you great opportunities, people that can put you in great spaces. But you know, your hottest favorite recording artist, movie star, whoever that you're looking at right now, that you're just like, oh my God, I love their work. They did the work. Right. Nobody walked them in there and said, okay, make this face, do this when they, you know, whether you're doing a music video or a song, you gotta bring it. Like, even if you just made a hit record. Everybody in the room knows it's a hit. Right. There's no magical formula that this other people are gonna make this a hit for you.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, you really got things to do. Like, at the same time a label is working your record and working your image and blowing you up, people expect something of you. Like, if you have nothing to bring to the table, they can do all the work in the world, and once they present you, you're just nothing. You're like, you don't bring it on stage. You don't have anything interesting going on. You just made a great song. So I think we get a lot of superstars who aren't the greatest artists, or at whatever the craft may be. They're not the greatest artists because the greatest artist doesn't have that hustle, that they don't have that pizzazz to become social media savvy,
business mindset. You know what I mean?
And you just it's by any means necessary. Like, I think back when it was my time to try to break in the door, and I just felt like nobody could deny me. I'm like, I'm going up to this party and they're gonna let me get on the mic. Like, you're gonna listen to my music. Like, I just had this thing where if you gave me opportunity, I'm gonna deliver. Because DJs used to say back in the day, you're like, hey man, let me rock the mic for a little bit. And they're like, well, what can you do? I'm like, man, if you let me on that mic, those people are gonna love me. And like,
you had to sell yourself pretty hard.
Yeah. And it's like, and they say stuff like, well, man, don't mess my party up.
Yeah. Don't fuck it up, man.
So you got to impress the DJ who's in control of the party. Yeah. So now, it's not like that now, but at the same time, you can't get your record played in the club if a DJ doesn't believe in you.
Yeah, good point. Same with the radio, kind of.
How are you going to be at home sitting on a hit record, listening to it over and over again with your friends, but you never take it out and try to make friends with people who can make your record play around your city or anywhere? You're like, oh man, that's somebody else's job. I don't want to be on this label no more because y'all ain't doing nothing for me. It don't work like that.
I'm supposed to sit around and do nothing, and then you're supposed to plug me and do everything.
If you put in the work, if you make yourself hot, people will follow. Not social media followers. I mean, like labels and people. Your team will step up to the table when they see the activity, when it's hot.
Yeah. People I feel like have a complete misconception what a label is or does, you know what I mean? Like,
I think labels are the best thing they do is they chase hits.
Yeah,
they do.
Because they really don't create them.
Well, they don't know, you know what I mean? They think it's a formula, or they think if one person did it could just be repeated.
It's a formula when you're the Migos and Drake, and you've already established that you're a hit maker, and you go, here's another one. Yeah. So you already got an image, you already got a team intact. You got the label believing in you, and you go, here's another one, and then it works. That's why people get on a good wave or a good run, and it lasts for a while because people are believing in what you did. But from the start,
it's you.
Drake had a lot to do with his career.
Absolutely.
Not Lil Wayne, not Cash Money, and not Universal, whoever it was Drake.
I know everyone wants to give everyone else the credit, you know.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Drake. He got put on all this stuff.
I mean, look at Future, man. I can't determine what's a mixtape, what's an album, what's the last song, the next song. It's just a lot of music. And I'm like, hey, the label ain't doing that. The label ain't in the studio all night, every night.
That's his business model, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And he would not be where he is
without it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So some people get it, some people don't.
So what's your big business model? Like, how do you do it? Like, you know, Future just pumps out music all the time.
My theory has always been like, you know, you put a bunch of irons in the fire and you see which one gets hot.
Right.
And you work consistently year round and you realize that what you're doing now might not pay you next week.
Right.
Like what I'm doing now is like my money next year after that.
Yeah, good point.
Like I'm putting irons in the fire and I'm not like waiting on just that little one. Like, man, my album come out, man, I'm getting me a Mercedes. Like when my album come out, you know, I'm changing my life. Like, nah. When my album comes out, I'm gonna have another album already recorded.
It's that off-season fucking practice, you know what I mean? Like artists feel like they got, you know, oh no, I put an album out, now I can chill, or some shit.
Yes, you don't ever want to get in that mode where you feel like you've made it. Like I you know, like if you achieve your goals in life, you should just sit back and set new goals for yourself.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like stretch it. Like I don't know, man. I've never just been like satisfied with where I'm at, and I've been happy, but that's just my mentality. If you stop pursuing those goals and, you know, just happiness in general, you're not living.
Right.
Like, I did everything I wanted to do. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm all good. That's when you die, right?
That's
when you're like, done. I'm ready to go.
You're done. There's something that dies with that mentality.
Yeah. There's a crazy statistic on, you know, when people retire or when they're coming into retirement, like most people will die, like, you know, within a certain amount of years after retiring.
Yeah, your brain, you got to keep that brain working.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us about like how you got plugged up and how that whole thing worked with getting on the Black Panther album.
That was purely the Oakland connection, the director's from Oakland.
Yeah.
Dope.
And he was reflecting back to a time in his life.
Right.
Had to be where he was about the age of the character, I'm assuming.
Right.
And he got the opportunity to make a Black Panther movie. And he's from Oakland. And then the one connection that you would obviously know or should know is that the Black Panthers
were from Oakland.
Were formed
Started
in
Oakland. Yeah.
So he tied it all in a little bit, not so much as the Black Panthers, but he brought in Oakland. And then when he brought in Oakland, he said at a certain time, and at that time in his life as a little kid, that's probably what was playing in the background. Right. Was a Too Short song.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he just...
That's a good point. Yeah, that's
he
sick.
did that. That was all for himself. It wasn't...
Right.
It was a great play. Like, that was Brett Favre, go long.
Yeah, for sure, right?
You know?
That's knowing. That's some knowledge right there, though, you know?
I mean, it was to the point where you could tell me, hey, your movie's in Black Panther.
Right, yeah.
Like, man, for real?
Really?
But then nobody said, your song's the first song in the movie.
Right. That's crazy. That's the big part.
Like, soon as it comes on, I'm like, what? So
that movie was massive.
That was a big deal for me.
Yeah, that was huge.
I love that the young boys got on fucking SOB/RBE.
Yeah.
Like that was dope.
He
the
really looked
time.
out.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, I'm in a time in my career now where I got Gotti sampling old Too Short songs.
Yep.
Featuring Nicki Minaj and
that's huge.
Drake remaking Too Short songs. And
About to say that was
using my lyrics, and somebody just sent me a song the other day. 2 Chainz remade an old Too Short song.
That's so tight.
That should be coming out soon, and I always knew I had that kind of music,
right?
And I knew at some point somebody would catch on, but
Well, that's the interesting thing about music is the authenticity, you know, being yourself. And it always just comes back around. Like, I feel like a lot of artists right now are just chasing sounds. Even producers, they're just chasing whatever's hot right now.
Well, the more they dig into Too Short crates, the more I get, because I didn't do a lot of sampling.
Right, good point.
And you go to remake an old Too Short song, and it's, you know, very good chance that it was an original tune.
Yeah, what kept you from sampling back then? Because that was huge.
The first time it goes all the way back to the band class.
Right.
No one, when you're in band class, you're like in a marching band. You have a guy telling you, you play that part right there, right there, right there. Right. And then you sit in the room and you learn the music, and then you got to go out in the field and practice these steps and stuff and moves to go with what you already have to play at a certain time. Right. So that just kind of, like, you sit there in the class and the guy's like, who did that? Right. And one flute just played the wrong note. Yeah. And then you start like hearing that too, man. Somebody in the horn section is fucking up. And you get an ear for that, man. So I know a wrong note from a mile away. And I think
you're just musical, so you're like, why would I need to sample?
Yeah, I just think first time I ever got in the studio was 1985. I've been making homemade tapes using other people's instrumentals and, you know, doing a DJ style. Right. First time I got in the studio, I was with professional musicians. Right. And they were like, you know, telling me how to make a song, which I was sitting there arguing with these older dudes going, man, that's how you make your kind of song, not my kind of song. But at the same time, they were very instrumental to what I was doing. 100%, I was trying to tell them, man, the drums got to be like this. You can't, man, the bass line got to be like that. I'm arguing with them. They essentially were trying to make 70s R&B. Sure. Like funk music. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's the basis, but that's not what this is. Right. So we were teaching each other things. And then after I moved on to just be like my own boss in the studio, I always knew how to use a keyboard player, a guitar player, a drummer, just use it at the right level, the right place, the right style.
Yeah. So you're a producer yourself.
Yeah, and I'm much more like recreating when we find a sample. Right. We're like, okay, loop it. Right. And then we're like, all right, now play each part over. And then we're like, what's it sound like without the loop? And then as soon as you take the loop out, I would say a small percentage of the time you lose the effect. Right. But a lot of times, as soon as you punch the loop out, like, ooh, that guy, I like that. Yeah, that's kind of tight, right? And it gets better. So that was us. You go listen to Too Short songs that are remakes, and you can kind of hear, you can hear the influence of the very sample. Very seldom did we leave the sample in there. We just you hear the influence.
So how does that work when you're recreating the samples? Do you still have to like get the clearance for?
Well, yeah, you definitely got to clear the song, but I think
it's probably cheaper, right?
It's just a cheaper thing when you don't actually use the mechanical recording.
Sure. Yeah. That's the big thing, the mechanical and the masters and all that.
Well, at least you didn't try to do like what freaking Vanilla Ice did and like, no, I added a note and no, it's different.
Yeah, man, I guess at that time he probably didn't understand what they were doing legally with samples in court. He went to court.
Yeah. He's like, I'll fight this.
And I mean, you listen to that record, it's like, dude, you just took
the whole fucking
thing. Like, I changed one note.
I mean, you even like when you hear the original record, you're like, which one is this? Is this Vanilla Ice?
I had a song that I did called The Ghetto, and it was a remake of a song with the same title by Donny Hathaway.
Oh, nice.
Who passed away a long time ago. And when it came up for negotiations, we probably could have, since I rewrote the words, the words considered to be half the lyrics or half the song, the music is the other half. As far as, the publishing, the ownership, whatever, the writer's credits. But on this particular song, when they went to go negotiate, it was Donny Hathaway's wife. And I don't know, I just was like, well, just give her 100%. I don't care, And just, instead of negotiating, because I love the song, my mother loved the song.
Right, you want to keep it out there, right?
And I wanted to use the song, and I didn't want to, fight this lady over percentages or whatever, so I just give her 100%.
That's dope.
And many, many, many years later, her daughter is Layla Hathaway, who's also an artist. Yeah. And she was at it was like a jazz show, outdoor thing in the Bay, over in Berkeley somewhere. Yeah. and they said Layla's mother wants to meet you. And I came over there and she just thanked me.
That's sick.
She just said, and I was just like, that was worth the whole 100% publishing to think that, you know, she probably saw some great checks because the album was platinum.
Yeah, that's huge.
And made me feel good.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I want to see more of that nowadays, is the give back, you know?
Well, I see some artists doing that, like you just like all the proceeds, the percentages. Like didn't French Montana do that with the Unforgettable track? All the proceeds, all his splits. Oh no, it was the engineer. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, people are still doing that. That's still dope. Like people don't like see that and like understand what it means, because you're gonna get checks for life. You know what I mean? I'm sure she's still getting checks. You know what I mean? Off that. Right.
Yeah, we always talk about we want the new hip hop artists to appreciate certain things about the older artists. I just don't think that this is that genre.
Right.
And I think I've met some young cats, like right now, under 18, who know all about hip hop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they choose to do that. They know a lot about 80s hip hop and before.
For sure.
And details all through the 90s. And I'm like, how do you know all this stuff? You're like, I love hip hop.
Right.
So it's the individual effort to you know, want to be a hip hop historian. But I do say this, that knowing music, and not just hip hop, just knowing music.
Right.
If you know stuff about jazz, the blues, rock and roll, it just helps everything you're doing forward. It all comes into play. The knowledge gives you so much more to work with. And, you know, I could understand that you sit there on a laptop and make a beat and you go F everything that came before me. But if you took the time and study some records, study some artists, study some careers, might help you.
You know what the funny part about that is? Like, those guys, because I do know a lot of those producers, but like they love things right now and not understanding that things right now, you know, are pulling like literally like being retro is hella cool. You know what I mean? In 2018 and shit. Like,
but if you got into jazz and just certain musicians, you love something about jazz or the blues or something that could, you know, just listen to the blues.
Yeah.
And, you know, I come up with great ideas for right now, and just inspirational things. Riding in my car, listening to a different genre of music, and I get in the studio, and that I'm in that frame of mind, and it interprets into hip hop. So wonderful. Versus just listening to the radio. If you listen to the radio all day, we're gonna just keep saying Drake. Let's just say
he is the radio right now.
If you just I just love Drake. You're an artist. And you just love Drake, and you just like, man, it's just like, man, it's my motivation. What he's saying, I love the style. You will actually go in the studio and accidentally be Drake.
Yeah, you're gonna make Drake.
And like somebody like, man, sound like Drake. You're like, what do you mean sound like Drake? If that's all you listen to.
That's all you listen to.
You're actually, now you're flowing his cadence. You're saying your words like he says his words. You're picking beats like he would pick.
Yeah,
and you don't even you listen to so much of it.
Yep.
I know a rapper right now who his style changes based on who's out right now.
Yeah, whoever's hot, right?
So when it was Lil Wayne, he had a Lil Wayne in him. Like he listens to so much of right now that he morphs into that style. So he's been the Migos, he's been Drake, he's been everybody.
He's been them all. Might actually have an identity crisis going on.
So are you like, you know, putting on young artists? Do you have like some, you know, youngins that like you really see potential in and really
I launched a label called OG Records. And this is the digital age. It's not a label where I'm on a talent search and I'm signing artists. I'm like, you're next, you're next, you're next. It's more of a platform format where I'm trying to bring a lot of artists in. Like just a whole generation of producers and directors and songwriters and singers and rappers. And basically, the whole theory is we're all independent. And we can make a lot of money and have great careers without necessarily any major label assistance. Like we can, you know, you're in Wichita, Kansas. Your songs sound great. Your videos look good.
You're dope.
I just want to know, you know, who's your producer? Like, you know, I got some dope producers you might want to work with, like just things like that.
Yeah.
And then basically, I just have a lot of artists, like thousands of artists have been sending me songs and videos so that we can build this independent artist platform. And it's all in the works. It's called OG
Dope.
Records.
Yeah.
And, you know, we launched it in January. And soon you'll see as I start to catalog all the videos and all the MP3s.
Wow.
And,
Yeah. That's,
you know,
that's some work, right?
and just sift through them and it's just like it's kind of like World Star, except you can pay World Star to get a song on there,
Right.
but you can't pay us, and we won't. You can't just send us any song. It's got to be. We got to pick it.
Yeah.
Right. That's dope.
You're deciding the culture. You
So
know
I
what
just want to be in control of a independent artist platform that we sifted through and weeded out the stuff that we thought as DJs and programmers or whatever.
Yeah.
We thought we didn't necessarily like that for whatever reason, so it's not going on the platform. And just that. So I want to be the guy who goes here, you know, YouTube channel, SoundCloud, whatever it may be, and you just start listening, and you're like, I like what I hear. And it's artists, just obscure artists you never heard of. It might be the next guy up. It might be somebody who just makes good music and lives in a town where they're not moving to LA, New York, or Atlanta, and they just like you know. And I love this time in the music industry where a guy could be from anywhere, an artist, not just a guy. You could be from anywhere and create your career from your bedroom.
Yeah, sounds
crazy.
You could really pop visuals and everything. Like people have come, you know.
Get the homie with the camera, you know what I mean? Put up a video the next day.
Just do it with your phone.
Yeah.
I swear you can go out in the cornfield right now
Yeah.
and do a song called Corn,
Yeah, right.
and then it'd be a hit. You're going viral.
Come pop.
I like when people say I'm going viral.
Yeah, right.
That's
you
the
got
one
it?
thing,
Yeah.
That's the one thing you can't do is announce that you're going viral.
Well, that's actually
It's a
definite that
conflict.
you're not going viral if you're announcing it.
I even did a song with an artist. They paid me, and it's all love, but the song was called Viral.
That's funny.
I'm sure it's not going viral.
I'm sure it's not going viral.
If it does, oh hey, but you can't go. Oh man, we about to go. Hey, what y'all doing? We about to go viral.
This one's going viral. How you gonna do that? It's just viral, man. It's a virus.
When you go viral, believe me, it's not always what you want to go viral.
Yeah, that happens so often, right?
You know who we were talking about was Guap Dad, because we were asking him about going viral, and he basically said the exact same shit.
He's like,
if you try to calculate it, you're already losing.
Yeah, you're fucked, man. We're going viral with this one.
I love the saying, the internet always wins.
Yeah, it really does.
I fucking love the internet, man. The internet's ridiculous. That
It's
like
brutal.
changed music completely. Do you remember like in 2001 when like fucking Napster came out and I mean I'm sure you just remember it from your sales, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember it was the intro of the industry changing.
Yeah.
They thought it was the end of the world.
Right. Everyone did.
MP3 file sharing. What?
Yeah.
Free music?
Why? Yeah. I just think it's crazy how long it took them to actually jump on.
Do you remember this? That the record labels and the CD recorder manufacturers,
RIA, right? Wasn't it?
They had those. No, they had the technology to duplicate a CD.
Yeah.
And they didn't want it to come out. The CD duplicators. They were like,
Oh, yeah.
ban this technology.
Yeah.
Now they fought in court for a long time, and then.
That's insane.
Then they came out with that. I think the industry as a whole was supposed to get a small percentage off every blank CD sale.
That's
And
insane.
as soon as that,
Trying to cuff
as
that
soon
shit.
as that shit was settled, it was like file sharing.
Yeah, fuck it. We don't need CDs. We got the internet now.
Well, you know what they did once that shit came out? I remember when like they would literally sue a person $1 gajillion, take their ass to court, like
Individuals.
put them into bankruptcy and shit.
Some kid in
Yeah,
Ohio.
we're gonna scare them. We're gonna teach them a lesson
In your
one by
dorm
one.
room, you get you're being charged with stealing property.
The 16-year-old, you're in debt for the rest of your life now. Fuck
Get down
you.
on the fucking ground.
Yeah, but shout out to MySpace.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't really a MySpacer, but I always over the years been working with young artists, And I remember working with a group, The Pack.
Yeah.
And when I first got a hold of their music, I liked what I heard. And I got in touch with them. I knew one of their fathers by chance, and it kind of helped everything happen. So I started working with them. I'd bring them to my shows around the Bay. And as far as I knew, they had been making music, but I didn't know how they had been out and around.
Right.
And I'd take them to these shows, and they'd get on and do a few songs, and everybody in the crowd knew the words.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, how do these people know your songs? They're like MySpace.
We're viral on MySpace.
I'm like, what is MySpace? Like, seriously, though. So, the world changed.
That was a crazy era. Like MySpace, you were like one upload from getting on. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
MySpace and free porn.
Yeah.
The whole world changed.
Whole world changed.
Fucking Soulja Boy came from MySpace and Sean Kingston, and that was like the ringtone era. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
The way we do it now is kind of like like Pro Tools evolved from Performer.
Yep.
Everything now evolved from that whole MySpace vibe, that Napster vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think about streaming now?
Well, I think the whole thing with the downloads and streams and being able to count the clicks, YouTube, counting the views and whatnot. I just think that I'm not sure how I feel about the formula they put to it. What's platinum, what's not, and all this stuff, and what's, whatever, how much you get paid for it. But at the same time, there is a formula now.
Yeah.
And you can measure success. And because it was confusing as fuck for a little bit there.
Right. It was so confusing.
I think that overall, where streaming is about to go to is going to be better than record sales, better than CD and cassette sales, because streaming is going to be monetized probably in places like China, Africa.
Yeah, that's going to change
India,
everything.
And the audience is going to grow so huge that some people are going to benefit like
crazy.
Yeah. So, and streaming is like, can I do a concert down the street and they watch me in China and pay me? Like, where's it going? I don't know.
Right? Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's going to be a lot of opportunities to place music as the internet has brought. Music no longer has to be a song that you download and purchase. It no longer has to be a thing that you go to a store and physically buy. Yeah. It can live on all these tons of platforms out there that are showing us, content. Just it could be your music could be in a webisode.
Yeah, no shit.
Anything. Like there's so many places to go to get popular. And then the game is beautiful now because popularity is the
measurement.
The foundation of branding.
Yeah, right.
So you don't even really have to be what they said you used to have to be. You can just be popular.
Yeah.
Right.
And now you're in a meeting with these people going, we've got to enhance your brand. We have to, like, I'm a brand.
We have these steroids. We're gonna hit.
I was just hanging out in the barn out back talking about corn. I'm a brand now. They have little girls who are brands because they're like, do your hair like this.
Right.
Like, she's a brand. She's only 12.
She's pushing product, though. They got her fucking...
You see that little girl right there? Yeah, she's got 40 million followers. What?
Yeah, how did that
She just does her hair every day.
What? In the cornfield.
Yeah.
The little kids are balling.
Yeah.
Shout out to the little kid ballers.
Yeah, amen.
For sure. Yeah, they got a whole new platform now, man.
Yeah, the paper route wasn't working for me. Nobody wanted to pay.
You know what's really fucking up the game for me is like YouTube and Facebook and shit, like getting on music. Like if I like we were just talking today, me and the intern, Nate, about like if you're driving in the car and you're just playing some shit off the radio and then you put it on your phone and then you try to upload it to YouTube, like YouTube will like fucking copyright strike and fucking smack your shit and like demonetize your videos and
yeah, they might even delete you.
Yeah. Just get rid of you altogether.
Instagram and Facebook's doing that shit now, which is gonna kill the spread of music.
First you get suspended.
Yeah.
I love that back in the day, like when you heard a song but you didn't know who was by or like where do I find that? Who's that by? That was that mystery point. That was sick. You're not gonna have a lot of that, I feel like.
Well, whatever goes away, something else pops up. You're like,
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Like I just recently in about the last 6 months realized what Musically was. I'm like little kids are like addicted.
Just murdering it.
and it's just money, music making money.
Yeah.
So hey,
Yeah, amen.
Goes back to the Vine and when people were doing Vines.
I think something funny is about to happen though. I think
Yeah.
old people are going to try to be like making musically videos. It's going to end up being Facebook.
Totally. It always ages up though,
Yeah.
It never ages down.
And as soon as that happens, kids won't touch it.
Yeah, they're like, fuck this. Let's make a new platform where all the
You're a
music's
musically
free.
exec. Don't give it to old people. Yeah.
That's an
Don't
interesting
ruin
concept, though. We should touch on that. Like, you've been around the industry for like the longest. You've seen like cool come and go. Like, definitely, it's like the youngins. They determine what's cool.
Yeah,
And then-
and it's like you got two things: the youth-driven popularity stuff, and then the urban-driven popularity stuff.
Yeah.
And as soon as the youth stuff goes to grown-ups, they're like, we don't want it. And then as soon as the urban stuff goes to pop culture,
pop,
they go,
yeah.
oh, I just think I saw an old lady dab. No more dabbing.
Dabbing's done.
So that's how it works.
Yeah, and I know you, but you definitely don't like try to keep up with the fucking Joneses on that shit.
Well, I think that making good music, wear a nice watch.
Yeah.
stuff like that to get you past all the little trends that come and go. And I also embrace what happens to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to do the latest dance. I'm not trying to necessarily dress like a high schooler, but at the same time, I don't want to be like my audience is like only like 40 plus or something.
Yeah.
Right,
So,
right.
I'm in tune, man, but at the same time, it's the whole stay in your lane factor. My whole career, I've been staying in my lane.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you've actually done a really good job of that, man. Like,
And if you really want to be in touch with the youth as an artist, and you're an older artist, work with them.
Yeah.
No shit.
Don't
No
try
shit.
to be like them. Work with them.
Yeah,
They would ask, when I work with younger artists, they don't want me to be like them. They're like, man, I want you to do Too Short.
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
You,
mine's a
right?
song,
yeah.
So I that's how I survive. I don't change my flow or my subject matter or whatever it is. I don't change me to fit in with them. That I'm like, that's called a collaboration. So we collab. You like do a little bit of you, I do a little of me, and we make a song.
Right.
That's what makes them work.
I think you probably figured that out, and that's why you've seen probably so many artists come and go, because you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a lot of factors in longevity. A lot of factors. It could be work ethic. It could be attitude. It could be you just being too satisfied and not being able to move on and move further from where you made it, your first level of success. You could burn bridges. You could
There's a lot.
Oh wow.
yeah, you could diva your way out of this game so fast.
For sure.
People will just not like working with you.
Yeah. So what's next for you?
Well, outside of OG Records, I'm actually releasing my 20th album this year.
Wow.
It's called The Pimp Tape.
There you go.
The Pimp Tape is a bigger project than just one album. I leaked out a mixtape a little while ago. I leaked out a dozen or so songs on a playlist, and I have probably 50 songs that I just been working on over the years that are just laying around the studio. And the album is 20th album. It has 20 songs.
That's sick.
And after this album hangs around for a few months, I'm going to repackage it into a complete box set called the Too Short Tapes. And it's actually going to have probably, 40, 50 songs on it.
Damn.
And you'll be able to buy different levels of the package. I might even have the VIP package where you buy the box set for a crazy amount of money, and then you go get to hang out with Too Short at the strip club or something
There you
crazy.
go.
I don't know.
That's something crazy.
You gotta put a doc in there or something, man.
If there is, it's not a documentary. There's a 30th anniversary concert I did in Oakland.
Okay.
And we filmed it, and there's a lot of people speaking on the longevity of the career that goes in the box set. So I said a lot of stuff, man. I'm actually in development stages of a couple of TV shows, like scripted series.
Fuck yeah.
That have to do with Bay Area life.
Yeah.
One particularly me. Another one is about the project Nick Cannon just announced it's like a fictitious story about based on some real stuff that's happening right now in the Bay. But I've been in talks with people that want to do different aspects of the Too Short experience. Like I wrote a book that I'd never put out, and that book is actually being worked into something. So it's a lot of stuff going on, man. And then my main passion is young artists and producers, just kind of giving out opportunities, keeping the music going. I'm a firm believer in the music is in a good place right now. You can't criticize hip hop with me in the room and try to tell me that there was an era of hip hop that was better than any other era, because all across the board, the stats are there. We've always had whack ass rappers, and we've always had dope ass rappers, and we've always had whack artists that put out whack music, and we've always had dope artists, and it's never fluctuated.
Right.
So for you to say that our popular artists are whack right now, and I'm like, they making more money than we ever made.
Right.
They have more opportunities than we ever had. So how can you sit there and criticize business?
Yeah.
Like you sitting there, the only thing you can say is, I hate the fact that I hate Young Thug getting money. Like, why?
Why, right? How does that affect you in any way?
He figured out how to get a whole bunch of money. Congratulate that man.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying? To help him zip his dress up. Whatever. Getting money, man.
Whatever he wants to wear, shit.
That's dope. Have you had one of those conversations where like you did like have to talk and like to someone about that for like hours? Like, man, like
we have all the hip hop debates, man.
Yeah. Who
and it always comes to the same thing. It always ends up the same way. Well, I don't like it. And I think that's what hip hop was about in the early days. There was a nice little variety of, I don't like that. I don't like that kind of hip hop. I like that kind of hip hop.
Yeah.
And you go travel the world, man. Hip hop is everywhere. And you go somewhere else in the world, and they're not even listening to you.
Right.
They're listening to their hip hop.
That's crazy.
Doubt. You know, they like some American stuff, but they're like, we got our own rappers too.
Yeah.
In our own dialect, language, whatever. So
you heard about China trying to like ban hip hop, right?
I've heard that they're really not trying to let this hip hop get over there.
Yeah, they're like trying to censorship all that shit. It's insane.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
But I've also heard K-pop, and they got a lot of hip hop.
Absolutely,
Completely.
They're getting right into the trap
I was
stuff
listening to well, you know, I hang out with the Asians a lot, so I was hanging out with some of my Asian friends, and they requested K-pop.
Nice.
On
so you're gonna get on a K-pop
like a
track?
Pandora feed or something we were listening to, and then all this hip hop is coming on. I'm like, these are like hip hop songs that, like, these vibes are vibes that we know. Like,
Totally.
Like, this ain't new. This is just like interpreted in a different language.
Repackaged. Yeah.
And I was like, shit's kind of jamming.
Yeah, it's kind of dope. You see their videos too?
Yeah, they go all out.
The videos are out of control.
Those damn budgets for those videos are like fucking out the roof.
There's like CGI on everything.
Yeah, no.
It's out of control, dude.
So, you know, hip hop, that's what it does.
What's the weirdest genre of music like you had to drop a verse on or even feature on or whatever?
Well, I've truly embraced the EDM vibe because I've been way on the house music wave since the early '80s, and how it changed and all the different vibes house went through and all the
that was like a staple in Frisco. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
deep house
would be the weirdest genre I had to get on. I don't know, man, but I do have an itching to rap on a mariachi song.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
For real.
You ever do a country record or something?
I want to. I was supposed to do it. I had mutual friends with Jason Aldean. Is that his name?
Nice.
And
he's huge.
Yeah, but back then he was blowing up.
Yeah, he was
like
massive.
It was like 10 years ago or something. And we talked about it. We were supposed to like meet in Vegas and talk about it, and he was open for it. I was open for it, but next thing I blinked and he was like a megastar.
Right. Took a piss, came out. He was huge.
Yeah,
I would have loved to hear. I think you'd fucking kill some country shit, man. Like that'd be hard.
I had a friend who country western is one of those things where I get it, but I don't indulge.
Right.
I totally get that it's great music with great songwriting, but I just don't indulge. Yeah. And I had a friend who's like the #1 hip hop enthusiast on planet Earth. And he did some time in Beaumont, Texas.
Oh, shit.
In a federal facility. And when he came out, he was like, I kind of like country music, man.
He's like, I fuck with that.
He's like, that's how they play it on the radio. He's like, no, the songs, man, you just got to listen to the songs, the words, man, they mean something. I'm like, I know, man, but I just don't indulge.
That's hilarious.
I feel like if I was in Beaumont, Texas for an extended amount of time, I would
Yeah.
You need to be converted.
learn to appreciate country a little more.
That's hilarious.
Got to be in the country, right?
Yeah,
But I would definitely do a country song. I hear the beats. There's a beat in there somewhere that I can grab.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, man.
You know what? Speaking of country, I mean, I just heard them take like 808s and trap drums. Like I've heard a couple country songs now. They're booming.
It's
Metro
becoming
booming and
pop
that shit.
music for sure.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Like hip hop is the new pop genre.
Yeah.
Like it's weird to think about, but like our sound is getting, put into everything else, which is so weird. So
yeah, a lot of those pop records, like I remember those Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys records.
yeah.
Jive had these two producer guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I wish I could say their names outside. I heard their names so many times back in the day. Some employees from Jive Records are probably out there right now listening, going,
Come on, say it. Yeah.
But these guys used to have a little room at Jive Records up in the offices somewhere, and they just be making these little. I used to pass by the room and go, yeah, that's some bullshit. They just make some little popcorn ass little beats.
I'm not doing that shit.
Hip hop, little drum patterns and little beats. All them fucking songs was Backstreet music,
Yeah.
Britney Spears music, NSYNC music, and I'm like that. But you hear them making it, and then you hear what they do to it. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
but hey,
Let's go sell it.
Everything comes in cycles, man, in music. I don't know. I've just seen that, but I'm sure you've seen it way more. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there will be a boy band era again. Like, I don't know if it's 2020, 2030. That shit will jump where, like, five guys in the group will be, like, the hottest shit in the world. You know what I mean?
That'd be like a trap boy band.
Yeah, something.
You know what I mean?
well, the hottest boy band now is the Koreans, right?
Yeah.
Right?
It ain't went nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right though. One Direction wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, that wasn't long
I know.
ago at all.
Yeah.
There'll be another one.
Yeah, they give you got them good for like one or two at a time. When they
Yeah.
oversaturate that genre, it all looks alike. So
Yeah, good point.
but even the funny thing on that thing is you can put together a reunion of NSYNC or NSYNC or Backstreet, and they
shit's
sell
still-
out.
yeah, it goes
people
crazy.
go nuts. Yeah, they'll sell out a whole
It's
stadium.
like, Mom,
yeah.
what are you doing Friday? I'm not going.
In sync
You
is in
guys
town.
go with the babysitter or something Friday. I'm going to
I love seeing like what all these guys look like now, or you know what I mean, where they've come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
kids in like middle school. And they sit
Yeah.
up there doing the dance moves.
well, no, because they were kids back then. So like unless you were like really following them to like where they are now, then now you just see them like, okay, that's what they look like growing up. You know what I mean? So. Man, that was a crazy era. The Britney Spears, who else? Christina Aguilera era. That was like the showdown. Who's the biggest pop act?
Super pop.
Yeah, I love that. That was an amazing
Eminem
time.
came along just to talk bad about all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's just out to destroy them. He's like, nah, I'm going to shut this down.
That was the biggest foresight in rap history that Dr. Dre had with that shit.
Oh,
Holy,
insane.
who would have thought? You know what I mean? Like,
And who would have thought Eminem had been shopping demos for years?
I know.
right?
No success. Wow.
Takes the year.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man. If there was one last thing, because this is like really about our audiences. They're coming into the game. They're trying to get into music. They're trying to get into the business. They don't know how it works. They're trying to make posts on Instagram. They're trying to work their music, get their mixtapes out there. What's like one good piece of advice to just like help them stay steady on that path?
Well, I would not put all my eggs in one basket. I wouldn't let it all ride on one song or one project or lose faith if something didn't do what it didn't succeed like you wanted it to. But it's got to be a way of life. You got to put your all into it as far as the creation of it and as far as working, hitting the pavement and working it. You got to go to work. And the early stages, it seems like you just punching brick walls, but really you're always making progress. Right. And if you got a great product that you're shopping around, make another great product, because people want to know, where's this going? If I invest in you, if I sign you up, what's next? Right. So you got to be ready for that longevity. And then the second that they open that door, you get that foot in the door, you look out and the fans scream or something, that does not mean you made it. Right. That's where it starts. Yeah. Like everybody thinks the start is the early days and the trying to get your foot in the door. That's just, we all went through that. It's what you do when you get in there. So I say, once you make it, work harder than you ever did to make it. Do whatever it took to make it, work way harder than that. And every time you achieve another goal, set another one and work way harder. And it just depends on your drive. You know, you talk to any actor, talk to any producer, and it's like because the opportunities when the door opens is a very small window that they're going to keep paying attention to you. They're like, oh, so-and-so's hot. He's hot. But if you don't stay hot, or if you don't keep giving them a reason to keep saying that, they're going to close that door. They never come back.
Right.
Like once you let them get away, it never come back. It's hard to like be a hot artist, lose all your fans, and then gain a whole new fan base. That's hard. So,
well, shit, man. We're really looking forward to what's coming up next with you, man. Really excited. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast. Everyone knows where to find you. What is your IG handle?
All my social media is Too Short, TOOSHORT. Everything.
You got it locked. Go follow at KDE Beats.
At Bradley HD.
And at Radium_media. And thanks for tuning in.